Just the other day, Nintendo decided to shadow drop Kirby Fighters 2 for the Switch. The trailer dropped very late in the day, and the game was immediately available. It just sorta happened, well, one day after the game went up early on their website. Oops. I'll give them credit though, the timing was pretty good. It feels like it's been just long enough since we've gotten any new Kirby games or news. This isn't Donkey Kong or Metroid, we basically get a new Kirby game every year. Oh god, I was just making an assumption, we really do get a Kirby game every year. What do you guys think happened in 2013 though? I was a bit hesitant to pick up Fighters 2 at first. I wasn't really sure if I'd get my money's worth with a Kirby fighting game, but decided to pick it up anyway, so let's talk about it. Kirby Fighters 2 is a 4-player platform fighting game that originally had its start on the 3DS as a sub-game for Triple Deluxe, which eventually became a standalone downloadable title, Kirby Fighters Deluxe. There's a handful of new characters and stages this time around, and best of all, Fighters 2 runs at 60 FPS. It's great to see them upgrade the frame rate considering neither Star Allies or Super Kirby Clash ran at 60. The best way I can describe the gameplay is, it's Kirby. Fighters 2 controls pretty much identically to Kirby's recent adventures, making it insanely simple to pick up and play this game. Pick your favorite ability and fight your opponent till you're the last one standing. The two biggest changes I can think of is you can't fly forever, and Kirby's Inhale is now a grab button, very similar to a traditional fighting game. There's also a bit of a comeback mechanic in matches with more than 2 players. When you die, you turn into a ghost, which might I say, is very cute. But as a ghost, you have the ability to smack your opponent, and by doing so, you can come back to life. It's easier said than done though, my god are you slow in this mode. But it's a neat comeback mechanic that doesn't break the game, and you can be attacked while you're a ghost, so it's not like you just come back for free. There's only one attack button, which does sound a bit limiting, but every character has a move list with enough options to go around. Some of these characters, man, Kirby games are known for making you feel overpowered and now you gotta fight against them? Fighters 2 introduces the new ability, the Wrestler, and this guy right here is gonna wreck you so hard at first. Just non-stop grabs that do tons of damage and leave you in positions to get grabbed again. It's totally possible to just die right away when fighting this guy if the Wrestler is playing perfectly. God, I was getting wrecked so hard fighting Wrestlers at first, but I can't even say he's broken or anything like that, because the game is just full of insane characters. Gooey and Magalore show up as guest characters and they're zoning powerhouses. Trying to get in on these guys is seriously not easy. Honestly, a lot of these characters are built for keep-away gameplay, though that's not surprising. With abilities like Bomb, Cutter, Archer, and Beam in the roster, yeah, projectiles are going to be flying everywhere. I ended up playing a lot of King Dedede actually. At first, I thought he'd be terrible because he's a huge target, but he compensates by having huge hitboxes that deal tons of damage. So you got all these insane characters flying around all over the screen, throwing tons of giant strong hitboxes at you, all the meanwhile you're dealing with the stages. This game's got a solid list of stages. There's about 20 in the game, and they're all mainly based around old Kirby games. All of these stages look fantastic. The game as a whole looks great, but so did Star Allies, so it's to be expected since Fighters 2 is using the same engine. But the effort thrown into the stages gives you that nostalgic rush you've come to expect in Kirby games. Stages like Butter Bridge are completely in 8-bit, but threw in a rotation gimmick to mix it up. The Gourmet Go-Go stage uses sprites from Kirby Superstar Ultra for the Waddle Dees and King Dedede. Then you have more modern ones like the Gigavolt from Planet Robobot, hulking over the entire stage as he slams down and tries to kill you. And he will try and kill you, because as you'd expect, there's stage hazards to worry about. You know, some of them are not so bad. Gigavolt, for instance, does slam his fist down at you, but it's slow and easy to avoid. And Coos Forest just has cameos of animal buddies that do attack you, but not too much. Those, I don't mind, but battling your opponent is truly half the fight on some of these stages. Springy Handland, my god, 60% of the screen is a death zone. I don't even want to move when I'm here, because once I start fighting, I know I'm going to end up getting smacked into the screen. Same with the Waddle Dee train stage. The conductor's out for blood, he shows up like every 10 seconds, so you're mostly fighting in the air. I'm not going to say these stages are bad, they're just madness. And you know what, it can get even crazier, because of course, this game has items. You got giant missiles, explosive bombs, homing electricity shots. Of course this game has homing electricity shots. Oh, and you can't forget the mic. Pick this bad boy up and you'll scream into it, dealing massive damage to anyone who's even remotely close to you. There may not be tons of items, but pretty much all of them are a threat and can easily turn the tides of a match. So just consider, it's a 4-player battle. Every character has tons of huge powerful moves, the stages are out to kill you, and explosive items are just spawning in everywhere. Things get crazy. You don't even have much health, you could just die instantly. It's really hard to describe how silly this game can be at times. And while that might sound like it could ruin it for some of you, you could just turn it all off. Yeah, no items, no stage hazards, just you versus your opponent. No matter how you decide to play this game though, it's frankly a lot of fun, more so with friends. In fact, I'd say the main reason to get this game is if you have a group of friends to play with. The pick up and play nature of Kirby games lends Fighters 2 to appeal to basically anyone, and I think most people will have a solid time with the right crowd. The first time you turn on the game, you'll likely head straight towards the game's story mode. King Dedede and Meta Knight are tired of losing to Kirby every time they face him, and decide to team up and defeat him once and for all. They send Kirby an invitation to battle and await at the top of a tower that pierces the heavens. Despite Kirby's inability to read said letter, he still manages to find the tower and proceeds to climb it with the help of his buddy. I mean, yeah, alright. I guess that's fine, I don't know. Don't really see why Kirby would bother climbing the tower if he didn't even know what was up there, but I suppose curiosity got the best of him. Dedede and Meta Knight becoming bros is essentially all this story's about, and it's pretty fun to see them work together and have each other's backs. It's a nice little slice of fan service, and I can appreciate that. But yeah, the story mode is all contained in this tower. As you progress, you'll have to battle through each and every floor till you get to the top. It's split into 5 chapters, each chapter increasing the amount of floors you'll need to clear, starting at just 5 floors for chapter 1. It's fairly straightforward. All you're doing is battling the various Kirby abilities and guest characters until you reach your checkpoint. But there are a few things here to spice it up. Each time you clear a floor, you'll earn fighter points which level you up, unlocking characters, stages, and other goodies. At first, you'll only have 4 characters to choose from, so going through the tower is a solid way to start unlocking everything. On top of that though, you'll also get to upgrade Kirby through a random list of items. You can increase your strength, gain more health, reduce charge time. There's a lot of items to equip here. They're only in effect for your current chapter and reset when you're done, but they allow you to customize your stats to build strategies towards your preferred way of playing. Honestly, at first, this isn't that important. You could just pick whatever you want and get through. But like I said earlier, each chapter increases the amount of floors. Chapter 2 is 10, Chapter 3 is 15, and the final chapter is 50 floors. It's a gauntlet, and while you can game over as much as you want in the previous chapters, you only have 3 lives to finish the final chapter. And trust me, you don't want to have to restart the final chapter. It can easily take you an hour to get to the end, even if you're optimally building your Kirby. Almost every character in the game can be unlocked by level ups, but Meta Knight and Dedede require you to complete chapters 4 and 5 respectively. So yeah, you're gonna want to do it. The tower is, as you'd expect, definitely repetitive, though it only started to wear on me towards the final 2 chapters. The game does have some bosses which are great, but frankly I wish there were a few more. I mean, I have no problem with the game reusing assets, but why not bring over a few more in that case? The Meta Knight Dedede fights are definitely the stars of the show. Watching them team up and combine their abilities together is neat. Makes me kinda wish there was some more team up mechanics with your own buddy. That would have been awesome. I won't spoil the final boss, I guess, but the chapter 4 credits spoil them anyway, so be sure to just not look at all at the credits, just in case. Oh, also there's co-op if you have a friend to play with, but only locally. Of course. Completing the story will only take you a few hours, but don't worry, the game is set on keeping you busy with its reward system. Those fighter points you got from story mode can be earned by playing any mode, and if you plan to get everything, you'll need to hit level 100. If you love unlockable content, you're in luck, because this will keep you playing. But man, even at level 66, I'm still missing a few stages. It takes quite a bit of time to just level up now. If you run through the story, you'll earn enough points to unlock all the characters, so thankfully that's fast at least. There's also a lot of rare Kirby hats you unlock this way, which of course look great, and are perfect to hide behind an unlock system since they serve no functional purpose other than to change appearance. I guess I'm just a sucker for cosmetics so long as they're built into the game and not purchasable DLC, which at the time of posting this video there isn't any. You know, the presentation for this game is really nice. For a budget title, they definitely went out of their way to give this game some personality. I really like the menu design, all the brushstrokes used, the thick black lines, the Kirby silhouettes in battle mode to signify how many players are playing, the little animations each mode has when hovered over, the fact that online just looks like Kirby's Air Ride, and that totally doesn't bother me at all that we haven't gotten a sequel or sub-game of that in years. Nope, not at all. Hey, what about this? Other games. Let's check this out. Star Allies. Super Kirby Clash. Oh, these are just advertisements. Very sneaky, Hal. Joke's on you, though. I already have these. But seriously, I can appreciate the small little gallery here on past games. It's sort of weird, though. I feel like I just played a game that should have had something like this, but didn't. The soundtrack in this game is honestly insanely good. But there's a catch. You probably aren't gonna hear a lot of the new remixes for a bit. Just like the characters, just like the stages and the story upgrades and the hats, you have to unlock secret songs, which are the remixes. At first I thought the game didn't even have new music. All the stages were playing the same songs from previous games, but eventually I started unlocking them all, and yeah, this is some quality stuff. It's just a shame that a huge chunk of the music is at the very end of the fighter rank rewards. I want to play the game with these on. Definitely look up these songs when you get a chance. I'm sure it'll motivate you to keep playing. I mean, it's Kirby music, you know it's good. A+ stuff every time. If things are getting too intense, there's always single-handed mode. What, you don't know what single-handed mode means? Isn't it obvious? You get your right hand on the controller, and your left also on the controller, because this is just the equivalent to time attack. Why would this make you think of anything else? It's the perfect naming convention for classic mode. This is the mode for the completionist, with the goal of trying to get the best times with all the characters. Some will love doing this, others won't. It's not something I plan to do much, but as far as single player content goes, this is likely what you'll be spending your time with. Now, I want to talk about the online as there's a decent amount to discuss. Truthfully, I found that connection-wise, the game's pretty solid for a Switch title. It seems to be delay-based, which isn't going to win any awards, but throughout all my matches against friends and random opponents, I only ran into some lag spikes a few times. Of course, I could just be incredibly lucky, but compared to Smash Online where there's so much input delay built in, things felt fine. As you can imagine, playing with friends is the absolute best time you'll have with this game, so it's great you can customize your rule set for friends lobbies. You could set it so there's specific items only, no items at all, stage hazards off, change the way the ghosts work, play teams or free-for-alls. The only thing you can't do strangely is leave before the host. You're kinda just stuck there till they disband. When playing with my friends, matches would sometimes end in like 30 seconds, which created some funny and memorable moments, but I was really hoping there'd be a way to increase your health, and there kind of is, but it's not really a solution. You could set the handicap to easy or very easy, and you will get more health, but this also enables auto guard, which just ruins it. I think this makes sense for handicap settings, but if this is the only way to raise your health for longer matches, it's just not an option for me. If you want to play online by yourself, you can go to random matches, but you're limited to just team games. There's no way to play free-for-alls or 1v1s, and all items and hazards are on. Can't even vote on a stage, that's random too. To me, it just sort of feels like they were worried that not enough people might be playing this game, and if everyone was searching for specific rules, they might not find matches. But having no flexibility whatsoever is just bad. I mean, there's nothing wrong with teams. I had fun jumping into random matches and fighting others. But the lack of features basically means you need friends to play the way you want. Funny enough, you can't team up with a friend locally online either for some random matches. I think it's safe to assume that this game will never get a ranked mode or something similar to that, and that's fine. It sounds silly even suggesting such a thing in a game like this. But fighting games live and die by their online experiences these days, and if they ever plan to patch this game, giving us some choices online should be their first priority. For now at least, I'm glad the online functioned well for what it is, and I had a good time with it. So, is this game worth your time or money? Honestly, it depends. Do you have friends to play with, or do you see yourself seeking out people through Discords or forums to fight? If yes, then I definitely think so. Is it mechanically deep? Nah, not really. Though I could be wrong on that. With the right community, any game can evolve into more than it initially seems, but even so, it doesn't need to be. As a simple fighting game, Fighters 2 is a great choice when you just want to have a good time with some buddies every now and then. But if you plan to just play some random online matches for a bit after completing the story, then nah, I don't think it's got too much value. I could say wait for a sale, but I struggle to see this game being as active by the time that happens. Currently this game's still in the honeymoon phase, aka the perfect time to jump into any fighting game. So really now is the best time to play if you're interested. I have no idea if this game's gonna get DLC, if HAL or Nintendo plan to support this game at all. Getting more of the Dream Friends from Star Allies is the perfect way to keep people interested, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. That'll do it for me though. Thanks for watching. Until next time.